be coming in a little bit later this morning. My name is Kent Lloyd, and I'm on the planning committee for this meeting, and I'd like to welcome you to day two of the ILAR Roundtable on Gene Editing to Modify Animal Genomes for Research. And this is a workshop of the Roundtable on Science and Welfare in Laboratory Animal Use. So those of you who were with us yesterday, we had a good full day of a lot of science and understanding how this technology works and its use in multiple species. And we also talked about policy and regulations and heard from multiple agencies and in fact, various countries. Today our focus is going to be a little different. We're going to focus on the ethical and governance issues and challenges associated with the use of genome editing in animals. We can all, I think, agree that the technology is moving forward at a breakneck pace. Since 2013, at least as of 8 o'clock this morning, 634 papers have been published using the technology, and 2/3 of these are just in the last year alone. And just last week, as many of you probably saw in Science Express, a new, more specific Cas9 was published with less off-target effects. So the evolution of this technology is outpacing our ability to fully grasp the reality of its potential, ergo the need to, quote-unquote, get a handle on it. There is some urgency to have a thoughtful, open, and vigorous debate based on facts and knowledge regarding the extent of oversight and safeguards to protect human and animal health and welfare. In the context of this debate, it is important to note that research using this technology, which, as Peter pointed out yesterday, has been adapted from nature, specifically the bacterial immune system, it's really the epitome of what it means to be transformative and will have major beneficial impacts on animals. And of course, the impact of such animal research on human medicine and health will be profound. But in all the excitement and wonder, we should keep some things in mind. For example, the International Human Genome Editing meeting, which was held here last week, concluded with very different paths on which to proceed with research using CRISPR on somatic cells versus germ cells. But in animals, we are moving forward rapidly and primarily on CRISPR-mediated genome editing changes on germline competent cells and embryos with profound effects. Secondly, precision surgery on DNA enables targeted correction of genetic defects to improve animal health, such as protecting pigs against African swine fever, making dairy cows resistant to sleeping sickness, and so on. That there are efforts already underway to not just improve health, but to enhance non-health related effects on phenotype, be that performance, growth, morphology, structure, and other effects. So what are the ethical implications of these activities? What are the questions we need to address? How should we move forward and strike a thoughtful balance between the promise of great scientific advancements using animals with what is best for the health of the animals we use, keeping in mind the 4 Rs? Remember our reproducibility committee conference a couple of years ago. So that's what today is all about. And we'll start with someone who I can readily say is at the top of our lineup for today. Many of you know Dr. Arthur Kaplan, the Drs. William F. and Virginia Connolly Mitty Professor and the founding director of the Division of Medical Ethics at New York University Langone Medical Center's Department of Population Health. Dr. Kaplan has an international reputation as a leader in the field of bioethics. My first encounter with Arthur, and he probably doesn't remember, what was in California many years ago, when we set out to spend a mere $3 billion voted in by the electorate for translational research on human embryonic stem cells, and how the promise of stem cells was going to transform how we approach disease treatment and medicine. Sound familiar? And Arthur came out to talk to us about the bioethical issues we would soon be facing. That talk was one of the most fascinating, intelligent, and professional discussions I had heard on the subject to date, and still is. So I think we're really lucky to have Dr. Kaplan here with us today. Dr. Kaplan is also on our planning committee for this meeting. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to invite Arthur to the podium to provide us a general introduction to the ethical issues surrounding gene editing in animals. Thank you.